Welcome back. I am continuing my puzzle run. Yesterday I made it to 1254, and today I'm going to try to break 1300. Here I see this queen is not guarded, and that's a check. But I can't do that just yet because I just realized I'm in check. Probably should have seen that first. I can end check that way, but that seems foolish. Let's see. If I move out of the way, I think yes, I can't move here because of the rook, but I can move into the corner to get out of check. Then my queen is in danger. But it's protected, so it'd be a queen trade. All right, well, that clearly was not the best move. Is it saying I should have sacrificed my queen? Oh, and then I'm just going to guess that's it. Okay, it's saying I should have sacrificed my queen for a bishop and then taken the queen. Okay, I guess that leaves me up a piece, whereas the other solution did not leave me up a piece. Learn something new every day. Let's try to regain what we just lost there. The king has moved out. Was there a reason for the king moving out? I'm not seeing why the king would move out, but it did. I like this spot here except for the bishop guarding it because my rook and my bishop are both pointing at it. Let's see what else there is. My king is kind of in the middle too, and he has opened files. The opponent has opened files for their rooks. They have a protected knight in the corner. What am I supposed to do here? If I move this bishop somewhere, for example, to say check, that would open the line for my rook to capture the knight, though again, it's protected. However, again, if I say check, the king cannot advance to here or here because of this pawn. Obviously, these squares are guarded by its own bishop. These two squares are guarded by my bishop. And these three squares are guarded by my rook, which would... Oh, and that square would be guarded by this bishop, which would be in check. Is that checkmate? They would have to block with their bishop, and then I would capture it. They would have to block with their pawn, and then I would capture it. That might be checkmate. Okay, wow. And I'm still below where I started. Okay. First thing I see is this. Let's see what situation I'm in. This is probably what I should have seen first, is that I'm about to be checkmated if I don't do something quick. However, this square is not guarded by the opponent other than the king. So I believe we have a back rank checkmate with this check first and then this jack. Okay. Where's my king? Things are not looking good for the white pieces. I am outnumbered by these two and a couple of pawns that the opponent has, including this past one. And, however, this rook is hanging. I see that. I also see checks. I have one check here, which the square is safe because the bishop is blocked by its own pawn. The king cannot run backward or forward due to the rook putting him in check. This pawn guards this square, and this rook guards these squares. So that will be checkmate after a block and a capture, and a block and a capture. Excellent. Okay, my bishop is pinned, so I cannot capture. And it is about to be checkmate right there on that square. Can I prevent that? I cannot prevent that with any of my pieces. I suppose I could try to run away, but that seems not like something these puzzles do or encourage. I do not have checks here. There is this check, obviously, but that square is seriously guarded. There is this check, which I really like. The king cannot escape here because of the knight. Or here because it's own pieces. And here would be guarded by my checking piece, which would force the king to go there, in which case I would check here, which would force the king there, and then this would be checkmate. I believe that's it. All right. Get a few more in here before my time runs out. This is not looking good again. Well, in this case, we actually are equal on rooks and knights. We each have one. Black has several extra pawns. This one are both. That's where black outnumbers white. And this one is a passed pawn. This one is stuck. Can't go anywhere. I do have a couple of checks. For example, there's this check, which I think many people wouldn't see. I notice a lot of people at my level do not consider that knights can move backward. I'm not sure why. They know that they can, but they often don't see it in games. Let's see if that check happened. The king could not run there, but could go back or here. There is also this check, which I often don't see, a check where a pawn currently is, but that is protected. Let's see, if my rook were to be right here, the king, okay, these squares would be guarded by the rook. That square is guarded by the knight. This square is guarded by my pawn. So the king then would have to go right there. Wait, no, he couldn't go right there because my rook would be right here. Is that checkmate? Oh, my knight wasn't guarded, but apparently that was the correct move, and I believe the pawn moving up will not be quite checkmate yet because of this, but then I will capture with my other pawn, and that should be checkmate. Okay, because both pawns are guarded by the king, leaving the enemy king nowhere to go. Okay. Maybe two more puzzles. I probably looks like I will not break 1300 today. That's a check, but the king just escapes this way. This is about to be a passed pawn, which I can either capture with my pawn or my rook. But if I capture with my rook, black will recapture, and I will do that. And then black will have two passed pawns because this pawn will be out of the way over there. And I will be without a rook to track them down, and my king will not be able to get there in time. In fact, my king can't go very much anywhere right now. So I believe the correct move is to capture with the pawn. That way the black cannot recapture because of my rook. Should I say, my question is, should I say check first to force the king out, then capture the pawn? or capture the pawn first? I'm going to try the check first. Okay. No, that was incorrect. And you know what? I already know why. Now that this king has moved, this rook is unguarded. I can always capture that pawn later. That's what it was, right there. Now, I guess I just have to get behind it. Okay. And I'll do one more just to get the bad taste of that missed one out of my mouth. I cannot move this because of the pin. I do have a check here. I believe that's the only safe check. Obviously, I would have more checks if the knight wasn't pinned. Neither of these pawns can do anything. I cannot currently attack the king. Okay, so let's see. If I say check here, the king obviously would not be able to move forward or back because the queen. These two squares are guarded by knights. That square would also be guarded by the queen. That would force the king here. And then I would say check with the pawn, maybe? Okay, I still cannot move the knight. I'm going to say check with the pawn. Okay. Now I can say check here. Does that finish him off? I think these squares are all guarded, so I believe that will be checkmate. All right. Well, thank you once again for watching. This time I only managed looks like 24 points net, but I will get better. I am consistently getting better. Thank you.